Alright, so it is part 6 of the Road to 1800 ELO series. Last time we lost the game and it brought me right under 1600. So in this game I'm gonna be trying to win and get above 1600 ELO again. And I'm going to start up a game. Okay, so we're faced against a 1620. I'm gonna start with e4 as usual. Yeah, c5, the Sicilian. Against that, I usually play the Smith-Morra Gambit with d5. When they take, I play c3. Yep, they take. That's the entire point of c5. And now when they take, I'm going to recapture with my knight, and I have a lead in development. And in general, in the Smith-Morra Gambit, when they take, you would like to not only develop your knight to c3, but also bishop c4, knight f3, and then castles. And then depending on how black is setting up, you want to attack them. Okay, d6, so they don't even capture my c3 pawn, which is very interesting. I think I can just take this pawn on d4 because, well, we get 2 pawns in the center, so I don't really see a reason not to take. Okay, knight f6 attacking my e4 pawn. I think I'm just going to develop a knight and defend e4. They might play queen a5, pinning my knight. And then I'll probably have to play bishop d3. Okay, e6, very solid move. Kind of controls the center a little bit. I think it's called the Sveshnikov, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, never mind. I think it's the Scheveningen variation. Now I've played a Smith-Morra, but usually that's what this setup is called in the Sicilian. Okay, so I could play bishop b5 check. They will block with a light squared bishop, and I don't like trading here. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go for knight f3 and develop my knight here. I think that's a solid move. We have 2 pawns in the center, and our knights develop. And maybe I'll play bishop g5, putting pressure on this knight and pinning it. And maybe e5. Well, actually, bishop g5 might not be that great because they will play bishop e7 and then there's no pin. So this pin is actually not that great. Bishop c4 or bishop d3, one of those moves, and then castling. I'm just thinking about where to put the bishop. On c4, it's not really that active, to be honest. It's staring into a brick wall. And on d3, it's defending e4, and then maybe in the future it's attacking h7, which is really nice. So I guess I'm gonna go with bishop d3, and then castles. They castle, we castle as well. And we just have a solid position. So I'm looking at these 2 pawn breaks. e5, if they push, we're gonna take the knight. e5 takes, I'm gonna take back with the knight or the pawn. And that seems good, I think. I think e5 is the way to go. Because d5, then maybe they can lock the center up. Light squared bishop is open. Yeah, so a6 is a very common idea in the Sicilian, trying to go b5, taking some space and disallowing the movement of my minor pieces. Yeah, e5 takes. When I take with a knight, it's pretty nice. When I take with a pawn, then this knight has to go away. Let's say it goes here, for example, maybe queen c2. Yeah, I do think e5 is a good move here. I'm just not too sure of which way to take back. Yeah, both options are great. If I take with a knight, then my queen can get into the king side. If I take with a pawn, yeah, that's actually also very good because the knight has to go away. And then maybe we can play bishop c2 and queen d3. Setting something up over here, but that's still far away from checkmate. Yeah, so we're gonna have to choose one. Actually, I don't like taking with a knight as much because there is these 2 knight moves. So I will go for d takes e5, and then the knight has to go away. Yeah, if this bishop was not on e7, I think we would have a Greek gift here. which is actually very cool. But since this bishop is on e7, there is no Greek gift because it's covering g5. If you don't know what the Greek gift sacrifice is, it's basically when you have a bishop on this diagonal and you have a knight on f3 and a queen on d1 and a bishop on this diagonal. And then you can sacrifice on h7, king takes, you have knight g5 check, and when the king goes here, you have here queen h5. Knight d5, jumping the knight in the middle. I don't think taking makes that much sense here because they're just going to take back, and then this bishop gets opened up. On the other hand, if they take, my pawn gets isolated, which is a problem. Yeah, I'm thinking about queen e2 and then maybe queen e4. Doesn't seem too bad, but I don't think I'm gonna checkmate him because queen e2, queen e4. They're gonna play g6. Maybe I can go here, but they do have a dark squared bishop. Queen e2 does seem okay still. If f5, we can take en passant. Oh, but then knight takes. So we're probably going to have to do something different. I'm guessing queen c2 here. Yeah, you know what? Let's play queen c2. Team up with the bishop over on h7. And I would really like to see a weakening move like g6. And then our dark squared bishop can get in. But it's still far away from checkmate. If they take on c3, if I take with the pawn, yeah, then it's an isolated pawn. But still, I'm keeping this battery over here. Oh, I might have just played into knight b4. Yeah, that was very silly of me. So I go here, then my bishop is lost. Oh no. Okay, thank goodness they did not see knight b4. Knight b4 would have been game over. Okay, that is a big sigh of relief right now. Maybe I can just take here. If pawn takes, yeah, then the bishop gets opened up, which is not good. Yeah, bishop h6, I think there's still knight b4, which is just crazy. Yeah, now I think I can just play a3 and stop that. Is there any better move? Not really. I think I'll play a3. There is no knight and bishop coming over to b4, so that's really nice. And yeah, they did weaken their king side a little bit, but since they have a dark squared bishop, it's not going to be easy to fully take advantage of them. Because bishop h6, they just move the rook and then move the bishop over to f8. Okay, knight c6. A reasonable move, just developing the knight. I think bishop h6 doesn't look like a bad move. Develops the bishop. Attacks the rook. Yep, they do move the rook over. Now I think I'm going to just bring some rooks into the game. And this light squared bishop of black is not doing that well. They would have to play b5 and bishop b7 to develop it. I'm thinking about knight e4, maybe knight f6, but then they just take. Maybe knight e4 and knight d6. They have to give up their dark squared bishop, but they do gain a pawn. But that still looks a little bit promising if I'm being honest. What about taking here? Let's say they take with a pawn. It doesn't look too enticing if I'm being honest. Doesn't look promising. I think I'll just play rook d1 or rook c1, oppose the king, oppose the queen maybe. I think that's what I'm going to do. But which rook? I think this rook wants to go to the c file and this to the d file. Let's go rook d1. And then maybe I'm thinking about moving this bishop over somewhere and then the knight is pinned. Yeah, the only problem with knight e4, knight d6 is that I lose a pawn. Okay, queen c7, adding a little bit of pressure on my e5 pawn. A reasonable move. If I take the knight, they're gonna have to take back with the e-pawn, and then there's nothing really. Takes, their bishop just gets opened up, and how else am I going to defend e5? Let's say knight e4. They take, I take, they take. Yeah, if I have to play rook e1, then I feel like that's a waste of a move. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I can play queen e2 and defend the pawn that way while keeping my rook. I think that's the better idea here. Yeah, let's go queen e2, defend this pawn. That's just one of the reasons why a6 is such a good move in the Sicilian position, because it prevents so many pieces from going to b5. And b5 is a important access point. Yeah, okay, so they traded off the knight, which is fine. And now since my pawn is on c3, this knight has less mobility around here. I guess you could also consider it a weakness since it's isolated, but yeah, I think it's fine, to be honest. Black traded their centralized knight, which controlled a lot of squares, for my knight on c3. They might play a move like knight a5, trying to attack this. But honestly, I don't even mind it too much if this pawn gets taken, because maybe I've rook c1 attacking the queen, and if they take another pawn, maybe I can get my rook up in here. Yeah, I'm also thinking about, okay, so they do play knight a5, attacking this c3 pawn with the queen. I could push it to c4, that way it's defended. I could also just let it be taken and then play rook c1 and then they take another pawn. I'm not too sure about that yet. Could also just play rook c1, but then this pawn might get taken. Actually, then I play rook a1 and then this bishop is attacked. They have to protect it somehow. Let's say they do it like this. And then maybe I can pressure it like this. So let's say rook c1, here, 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 and then here, and then here. Yeah, that doesn't seem so bad. Actually, if I play rook c1, there is knight b3, which is a problem. Yeah, I think that's the bigger problem here, knight b3. I think I might have to just play c4 here and take the L for my bishop. I kind of need that to be defended. Here, what about this? And I go here. Okay, looks good to me. Yeah, let's play c4. If knight b3, I think I have rook b1. And I should be doing fine. Yeah, I need to somehow find a way to attack black's position. The only way to attack that I really see are these dark squares. Okay, knight b3. I can just move my rook and attack this knight, and then the knight has to go to c4, I think. And I feel like I should be fine. Yeah, after knight c4, I don't want my bishop to be taken. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, let's go bishop c2 maybe. Yeah, let's go bishop c2. And now this rook is opened up, and the bishop is also controlling some movement of the knight. Yeah, but I still don't see a clear way to attack black here. I really don't. Okay, b6. I feel like that's a weakening move. Oh, yeah, I guess they want to go bishop b7. Makes sense. But now this square has been weakened. Maybe knight d4, knight c6 now. How about I go h3 and just create a escape square for my king? On the other hand, I also have knight d2, knight here, challenging this knight. That actually looks kind of good, I guess. Yeah, let's go knight d2, maybe knight d4 to hopefully trade this guy right here. If bishop b7, knight e4 takes, and then they have takes on here. Oh no, my pawn is going to be hanging. Here, 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 and there is this. Here, here, check, they take. I don't think there is a rush right now. I think I'm going to play bishop f4, first defend the pawn, and then maybe play knight e4. I guess I could also push a4. Yeah, we might see queen c6 here. Then maybe I have f3. Yeah, I'm going to be hoping to not lose this game. I also need to play faster. Okay, they bring the other rook. Yeah, I will play knight e4 now. Yep, let's play knight e4. I'm guessing they're going to take. Then we are going to take, yeah, this bishop on b7 is just a little bit too strong on this fianchetto diagonal. Yep. I could also, no. Okay, yeah, bishop takes e4 and then they're going to take probably, and then maybe takes on a3. But honestly, I'm fine with the a3 pawn being taken. Okay, they also trade the bishops. That is fine. They might also trade the rooks here. They do. And then I guess they're going to take on a3. But at least we have the opened d file. And now what am I going to do? Let's start with something like this. And then take over the dark squares. Yeah, let's go here, take over the dark squares, and then maybe queen f4, queen f6. But I think they're probably going to play bishop f8. Yeah, also I could have played rook a1. Let's say they went bishop f8, I would have taken. Yeah, I think that's what I should have done. After bishop f8, I think I will play bishop g5. For some reason, I didn't play rook a1. I think I'm getting a little bit too greedy here to try and checkmate. Queen d4, maybe here, actually queen d4, then there's this. That is a big problem. How about I play g3 and give my king a little bit of an escape square. So that is the threat. Yeah, probably just rook c1. Rook c1 defending the pawn. Yeah, we are down a pawn, and more importantly, this pawn is going to be very annoying. But maybe we can still pull this game. Okay, they already push. Now I think I'm gonna go here. Yeah, I guess I don't really have a choice. I need to play something. If bishop c5, maybe queen f4. Getting in here. Okay, they push. I guess it makes sense. How about I go queen a1, putting a little bit of pressure. b5 takes, and they take here. Okay, yeah, b5 is their best move, probably. Rook c3, queen takes. Almost lost on time. Yes, very unfortunate. Just like last game, a passed pawn was the reason I lost. And in this game, it's probably going to be like that as well. I hate passed pawns so much. And they're somehow defended by all these pieces as well. Let's go rook c2, I guess. Maybe rook a2. Yeah, I just don't know what to play here. That's my problem. They're probably going to push b4. Yeah, this bishop, man. This bishop just brutal. Let's sacrifice my rook for this bishop and a pawn. And then hopefully maybe in like an alternate universe we can get our bishop and queen on there to checkmate somehow. Probably gonna see check. Okay, they go here. I'm gonna go here to try and go queen e7. They push. I go here. They push. Oh, never mind. I'm attacking the rook. So queen e7 is potentially a threat. King f8. Maybe bishop here. I think they're probably going to give a check. And then maybe check here, I guess. b3, queen e7. Let's say they go rook c8. Okay, they give a check. Gonna move my king. and they are probably going to give a... I hope I'm not getting into some kind of mating pattern. I'm gonna go here. Maybe there's h5 check, and then I go to h3 maybe. Yeah, here, and then check. Let's go over to g5 here. No, let's go over to h3 instead. If check, then king h4. I hope I'm not going to be getting mated here. That would be nice. They're getting low on time as well. Okay, they bring the queen back. Here, let's go give a check. Okay, they block, and then let's take this pawn. Okay, now there's no more passed pawn, which is very good. Okay, takes. I'll just go here. If check, king g2, I think. Yeah. Oh, what about this check? Here, they take. That's checkmate. Yeah, f3. And that's unfortunately checkmate. Damn. That was just another game that we lost. Gonna go to game review. Yeah, so I played on 76.8 accuracy and my opponent 10% higher. Okay, and rating was 1800 and my opponent 2150. Okay, so let's just go over the game, see what mistakes I made. That was good. Wow, that was... Wait, queen c2 was the best move? What about knight b4? Bishop takes h6. What if this? Wow, queen b1. There's no way. There's no way I would have found that. Anyway, so the game just went on. That was an inaccurate. Okay. Okay, 92 was a mistake. Wow. That was inaccurate. That was a mistake. Okay. Okay, there is no mate yet. Yeah. Check. That was good. Yeah. That was unfortunate. Yeah, so bishop h6 was a mistake. Oh yeah, rook a1. Yeah, I forgot about that. Rook a1 was the best move. Yeah, I shouldn't have played bishop h6. Yeah, and king g2 was also a mistake. What was the best? Wow, sacrificing the queen. Yeah, just to be able to live for a couple more moves. So I hope you enjoyed watching my game, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.